Hello, dear Polymer Clay enthusiasts. I'm Michaela from Learn Polymer Clay, and I'm back with more inspiration for your work with Polymer Clay. This is the second tutorial of the Valentine's Day countdown, and it has everything to do with the hearts idea and the red flowers that I wanted to look like roses, but in the end I think they look more like red poppies. But anyway, it has everything to do with the Valentine's Day idea, and we will put everything together into a pair of earrings. I hope that you like this idea, and I hope you'll get inspiration for your work with polymer clay. Let's dive into the tutorial. I'm working with white polymer clay that I have previously conditioned and passed through a medium setting of my pasta machine. Then I applied gold foil on top, and then I just used my scissors to trim off the excess foil. It's easier to do it this way. And then I have chosen a very detailed stamp that will create a very intricate embossed texture on top of the gold foil. And I used a lot of pressure and my acrylic roller to create this beautiful embossed texture on top of the foil. And then I'm just going to use a heart-shaped cutter that I placed on top of the polymer clay sheet decorated with gold foil. And I'm just using my fingers and I'm just pressing the polymer clay upwards. And this will create a beautiful embossed heart. Then I decided which size of the camper cutter I'm going to use to cut around negative space in the middle of the heart-shaped design. But before, I'm going to put some white polymer clay mixed with gold foil through the pasta machine, through the fourth setting of my Atlas pasta machine, so I'm using a thinner setting. I've placed this polymer clay sheet underneath the gold foil decorated polymer clay sheet. I pressed all the layers together, and then I just used the camper cutter to cut a round shape in the middle of the design, and the heart-shaped cutter to cut the beautiful heart shape of the earring. And then again I'm going to put this mixture of white polymer clay and gold scrap foil through the pasta machine, but this time I'm going to use a medium setting. And because I intend to use this piece to make the back of the earring, I'm just using the dotting tool and I'm making a doodling spiraling design on the back. Then I properly conditioned some red polymer clay that I'm going to use to make the flower in the center of the piece. But before, I am going to prepare some knotted head pins. So I'm using 24 gauge gold color craft wire and my round nose pliers. I'm making a double spiral, and then I'll just thread the loose end of the wire through the double spiral from the outside in. So if you want a better explanation for how to make a knotted head pin, you can Google this and you'll find great tutorials, and you can use such knotted head pins to attach dangle beads, and they are very beautifully looking in my opinion. Then I used the same camper cutter and I cut out 6 round petals. You have to smooth off the edges a little bit, and then I am going to put them one next to the other, overlapping a little bit the sides, and then you'll just have to roll the polymer clay from one side to the other, and you'll have a nice and easy to make rose to decorate the center of your polymer clay piece, you'll have to use your blade to remove the excess clay. And then I threaded the wire with a filigree bead on top through the flower, and then I pressed the ends of the flower together. I am going to make like a poppy design. So again, I'm going to cut round shapes. And then I'm going to use a silicone veil mold because it's easier and it takes less time to make flowers using such a silicone vein mold. But if you don't have one, you can always use a needle tool or a toothpick to make like little veins on top of the petals. And then I will just take one petal, curl it, and I'm going to use this as the center of the flower, and then I will just put petals all around the flower, overlapping slightly the previous petal. And you'll just have to remove the excess clay and have a flat end so that you can attach it to a base. Then I put the knotted head pin with a filigree metal bead on top through the flower, and then I've made a right angle with my fingers, just pressing the wire upwards. And then I put the wire and the flower in the center of the piece. I added the polymer clay with the spiraling doodling design to make the back of the piece. I'm pressing everything together. I arrange the wire so that it sits where I want it to sit, because I will use it to make an attaching system for the earring. And then I just used the heart-shaped cutter and I used my acrylic roller to apply a lot of pressure, and I cut the beautiful heart-shaped design for the earring. I'm using a sculpting tool to press the petals into the base. I'm gently pressing the petals into the base, and in the same time I'm adding more vein-like impressions on top of the petal. Don't forget to smooth off the edges before putting your piece into the oven. So really I'm taking the time to make sure that I like the look of the piece. So I have some petals that are attached to the base, meaning the one that are underneath, and I have some petals that are facing upwards to create a beautiful poppy in the center of the piece. And then I just bake the piece for 40 minutes at the temperature recommended by the polymer clay manufacturer. And as always, when you are using gold foil to decorate your pieces, you should think of applying varnish in several coats. So I'm applying varnish on the gold foil decorated areas, and I will apply several coats to make sure that my gold foil design is well protected. And then I decided to add a little bit of red piñata ink to the varnish and use this glaze to color the poppy flowers and make the red pop up even more. And then you'll just have to let the pieces dry. And then in order to finish the design, I'm going to use flash cutters, remove the excess wire, and then I'll just use the round nose pliers to make a loop. And I will use this loop to attach the earring component to a simple earring finding. So here's an easy and rather fast tutorial that I hope will inspire you to make a beautiful pair of earrings that you can wear for Valentine's Day or for any special occasion or no special occasion at all. So, as always, I encourage you to share your impressions with me, to press the like button if you like the tutorial, and stay tuned for more polymer clay inspiration for your work with polymer clay. Thank you.